I've only been into hobby board games for about 4 or 5 years, and I tend to primarily play Euro games where narrative frankly isn't a priority. But possibly one of my best board game experiences to date was playing Pandemic Legacy Season 1 because of the strong narrative. The ups and downs and dramatic plot twists really made that a special experience for me. So from time to time, I really get a hankering for a narrative-rich board gaming experience, and that's where Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle-earth came to my attention. First off to mention, Journeys in Middle-earth is an app-assisted game, and I really enjoyed that. It gives you thematic voiceovers, music, sound effects, and helps you set up the maps for your various adventures. Most importantly, perhaps, it helps you save your progress so you can come back to fight another day. And this really just helps you avoid a lot of the tedious admin that might otherwise be necessary to play this kind of adventure-style game. You get to play as all the big characters from the Fellowship of the Rings, each with their own thematic special abilities and beautifully illustrated character sheets and adventurer decks. To add more variety, you can pick various character classes that further customize your adventurer deck, and this is the main method for you to interact with the game world. You're going to be using your cards to draw success icons that help you pass various tests or defeat opponents or deal them damage, and that's going to be the main way for you to actually play the game. So that's pretty important that variety is built in. Overall, the artwork in this game, I really enjoyed it. It's really evocative on the cards themselves. The detailed terrain tiles are amazing and provide a fantastic backdrop for your questing. And as for the quests themselves, they're quite varied. They range from seeking out hidden items, perhaps trying to track down a colorful character, and they almost all involve kicking some orc butt, which is a lot of fun. Some of the maps you're going to be playing on are close quarter brawls, while others are sprawling dungeon crawls. This shift between the two types of terrains really creates a satisfying tempo to the game, and the handsome miniatures depicting both the hero characters and the monsters are great quality and really deepen the tangible connection to the storyline. But like any great story, luck and skill both play important parts. This strong luck component is very different from your classic Euro, but it makes for deeply dramatic moments and helps propel the narrative forward. You can of course make smart decisions to tilt the odds in your favor, but it often comes down to the outcome of a single card draw, and it isn't always in your favor. After all, even heroes have their weaknesses. These are essentially useless cards that you have to seed your deck with as you progress through the game. But from a thematic perspective, I really like the fact that these weaknesses make it harder for your hero to achieve their objectives. Thankfully, the game is somewhat forgiving, so even if you don't achieve a devastating victory, you can progress in the storyline. And this is somewhat different to some other games that I've played, like Time Stories, where you tend to have to repeat missions over and over. Overall, my impression of this game was that it was a lot of fun. Just good old rollicking fun. It captures Tolkien's world beautifully and really gives you the sense that you're moving through a storyline, experiencing the giddy heights of victory and the bitter lows of defeat. That being said, some of the storylines felt a little bit repetitive. I think a good word from the world of video gaming to borrow here is grindy. And it's hard for me to really fault the game design because of this, because the game is quite cleverly designed in that it lets you use the same tokens for different types of missions. So there's a lot of stuff that those tokens can be used for, and that's very clever design. But it does sometimes lead to a slight sense of repetitiveness, and I think that some harder work and some deeper work around some of the storylines there would have really paid off dividends. Beyond that, the app, which I said was really good, I actually think there could have been deeper integration with the app. I would have liked to have seen the ability to look up terms very easily on the app. When they're shown, you can just click the link on the term and that brings up a definition, and perhaps making it a bit easier for you to track where your adventurers were on the map, because if you were tearing this game down after a play session, you'd literally have to have a photograph of where your adventurers were and make a specific note of it on a piece of paper so you'd be able to set the game up properly next time around. So maybe something where you could have added in where your adventurers were would have been quite useful. But overall, this is a very elegantly designed game with smooth mechanisms that minimize complexity while packing a big narrative punch. The app, as I said, is great and actually offers an easy way to access future expansions. All in all, I think if you're really interested in a rich narrative experience, and especially if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, then this is definitely a game for you to check out. Please feel free to ask me any questions here in the comments. You can find me on Twitter @GameMinimalist. Otherwise, enjoy your gaming.